Hello, everybody. Welcome today. We're going to have a fun show today. We're talking all about tagging. Tag, 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 tag. And the fun that you can have starting to explore these extra buttons, especially if you're a beginner at this or somebody who's DIYing all of it yourself, all of your social media yourself. We're going to be talking today about some little extra buttons that you can push that it can increase your visibility in some really fun ways. And so we're going to be diving into that. My name is Elizabeth Doss, and I am a motion graphic designer and social media consultant. And I help brands and businesses with their social media, but specifically in the realm of engagement with animated GIFs across social platforms and how they can bring humor, fun, harness their thought leadership, and build community on social. And I am joined today by the illustrious Stephanie Gillis Paulgard, and we're gonna have a lot of fun today diving into this. So I would love, Stephanie, for you to introduce yourself and kick us off.
Oh, thanks, Elizabeth. Oh, very kind intro for a Tuesday morning when I'm feeling like a hot mess. Hello, everyone. I'm Stephanie Gillis Paulgard. I'm the brand architect behind Take Roots Consulting, and I help businesses and nonprofits really take hold of not just traditional strategies with PR and digital strategies, but also the online conversations, the two-way, the sparking of the conversations. And Elizabeth and I are ready to dive in to all things Tag Your It. There are so many features available to us now within platforms that are allowing us this opportunity to extend our reach into broader communities. And I just want to dive right in, Elizabeth. You and I, when we were talking yesterday about how we were going to tackle all things Tag Your It today, it just was friendly reminder to me. Some of the things that I have done, do sometimes, but maybe this is now that PSA, right? That public service announcement to say when you're tagging, what does that look like? And we're going to be really specific and dive into two platforms that we find ourselves on a lot, that being LinkedIn and Instagram. So we're going to dive into the tools, but also the strategy, because once you understand the strategy, regardless of what platform you find yourself engaging with your audience or your community on, you can apply this same tactic. It may look different on a different platform, but the strategy is still the same. Elizabeth, back over to you.
I'm over here pushing all the buttons.
I know, I could tell. Thank you for that.
So for me, when I was thinking about this topic, part of the reason it came up is I was working with a social media client just this last week, and I was showing them some buttons that they can push on the back end because they're already doing a great job posting in their stories on Instagram and posting reels and doing all these things. And yet I had pointed out, I was like, actually, there's a couple of extra buttons that you could push here that could get you some visibility in particular areas. And also thinking of this idea of the social component that Stephanie reminds us of all the time, that social media is social. Think of it. It's the craziest thing ever, where it's supposed to be conversations. You think about LinkedIn, which we're going to dive into here in just a minute, but it's supposed to be a networking site. And what do you do at a networking party? You talk, and it's awkward, and you have to think of things to say other than my friend Mandy Graziano. She always says, never ever talk about the weather unless you're a farmer. Find a different question to ask. But how do you show up on these platforms and have conversations? And also getting to the point where you start thinking about some of your interactions with people as collaborations rather than just you posting about a meeting that you had with this person. Well, are you tagging the person that you're having a business meeting with? Are you tagging the location that you're having there? Are you tagging the things that you're talking about, whether you're talking about software or products or other things? Are you thinking along the lines of how can I include every part of this conversation in this thing? So I was going to kick it off today, Stephanie, I think with some tagging locations in Instagram, but I would love to get your perspective on some of that, and because I'm gonna get set up so that we can actually show people at the back of the let's talk
Yeah.
strategy, and then I'm gonna show people the other side of it. Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, I love the step by step, right? The how to guide, if you will. Let's do a little tutorials as we talk through it because again, as I said in the when we were kicking off the conversation, a lot of this people may have heard of or started doing and then they don't do it regularly. And so they're wondering why that engagement might be low. They're wondering why they can't extend their reach. And so when you think about collabs, when people hear that term collabs, oftentimes they're thinking about, oh, what is that? Am I hiring an influencer to do a collaboration with me? Well, that's one way to look at a collaboration. But when we think about tagging, and I know you're going to get into some of the behind the scenes here, Elizabeth, what's very interesting for me when I think about Instagram, when I'm working with clients, and I tell them, yes, of course, you want to be able to tag those accounts, tag those creators, tag those brands, because they get those notifications. Now, there is a feature in Instagram that is specific to collaborations, and many people have probably seen it or heard of it and went, how do I do that? It's a very powerful tool or feature within Instagram, but I just want to caution as you're getting ready to set up all the fun things, Elizabeth. And when we think about collabs, I just want people to remember to respect the relationship. At the end of the day, people do business with people, right? This is about relationships. And so there is an upside, of course, in doing collaborations on Instagram using the collaboration feature. But I want to just remind people, friendly reminder, do go and reach out to that particular creator that you're wanting to do a collaboration with. Because what will happen is once you go through that exercise and you tag their account as a collaborator, they will receive that notification to then say, yes, I want to accept this collab, and it will eventually hit on both accounts on their feeds. And so again, if you're having that conversation early on because you're being intentional with the strategy behind the collaboration, what you can do is now talk to each other about things like, well, hey, my visual aesthetic on Instagram is this, or these are my brand colors and these are yours, or this is how I like to show up, and actually work on it together as opposed to just willy-nilly and going ahead and tagging and hoping that they accept it. Because I know even for myself, right? I have a very certain visual aesthetic that I go for on Instagram in that feed process. So just again, really powerful opportunities that we're going to talk about and those strategies that you can put into place. But I just highly, highly suggest and recommend that before you do an official collab, make sure you talk to that other account, whoever it is, and let them know that's what you're thinking about. And then you can go through that more intentional exercise and conversation because you're both able to win. Right? This is a beautiful opportunity. It's a free opportunity to extend the reach and do some cross promotional activities or campaigns or takeovers. But just think through what that process looks like.
Exactly. Okay, so guys, this is the first time on Riverside that we have tried the screen sharing. By the way, I don't know if you know this, on your Mac now, there's a new app called iPhone Mirroring. And so you should be able to share your screen. So I'm going to try to jump. Okay. I don't know what this is going to look like, so I do apologize for that side of things. Stephanie, are you seeing my...
It looks fantastic.
Okay, brilliant.
It's right there.
Okay. So we are in Instagram currently, and one of the first places that I wanted to show you is in let's down here at the bottom. I'm just going to choose a post, or maybe let's just do a reel because I actually have some video. The sound. Tell me, Stephanie, if the sound plays, because I'll try to see if I can mute it very quickly. So I'm going to click on my video that I made this morning. Okay, I can hear it. Ooh, there we go. We're going to leave her right there. Okay, but in this, I want to go to the next. Oh no, she's got to stop talking. Obviously, you can edit things, do all your stuff that you normally do. But if we get to this section, this is a place where the tagging part can happen. Okay, so I can go here and So I can add a tag that is Take Roots PR right here. So I can tag her to it. But over here is what Stephanie was talking about, to invite collaborators. Now here is the difference between these two things. Adding a tag is you adding that person to that they'll see that piece of content. It'll show up in their feed, and I'll show you what I'm talking about in just a minute when I go over to Stephanie's page. But when she tags me in her reels and in her other stuff, then it will be added to that tag section on my bio. Now, the invite collaborators part is this opportunity for this video to show up on my feed and on Stephanie's feed. And what happens is when you invite the collaborator, Instagram sends them a request to say, do you want to add this content to your page? And so I did want to let you know that you can share it to 2 pages. So let's say you have your personal account and your business account, but they're crossing over that day. The information that you're posting, you would love your personal people to be able to see it and your business. You could potentially invite your business to be the collaborator on the post that you create personally, and it will show up on both places. So it's a good way to do that. And I don't, Stephanie, do you know the number currently, how many collaborators you can add to a post?
That is a really good question. I personally have not gone over 2, but I have seen other reels where, you know, you see 3 or 4 tagged up above. So
Sweet.
Good question. I really don't know the answer. Instagram,
So
if you're listening.
Yeah, I've seen it too. I think I've seen like 3 or 4 even on some of them. So you can see it still shows up, tag people here. But guys, this right here is what I want to talk about. Do not miss out on tagging your location, because you are opening it up to other eyeballs that are looking in that area. And I'm going to show you a couple places that this shows up when you are when you tag the location properly. So one thing I will do is I usually pick the general city, because there is the closest biggest city is usually what I go for, so that I can have more eyeballs from that area put on it. But actually it does still work with any location that you tag within that city. So maybe you're at a coffee shop or whatever, this is a great way to tag them. Now, one thing I wanted to point out is if you are, let's say you're taking a video of your lunch or your coffee, that like Stephanie's got her coffee right there. You can tag the location of the coffee shop, but also take the time to tag the account itself. Now, sometimes this takes you doing a little bit of research ahead of time and following them or finding their handle, but tag them not only in the location, but tag the place itself. That'd be the handle, the account itself, because there's a possibility that they might serve you up. I was talking again to this client that I was saying this is an important thing to do, and she's like, oh yeah, one time I tagged the account and they reshared it to their account. And so if you're a real estate agent, it's a great way. If you're out in the community highlighting different things, then you can tag the account itself. They will receive a add this to your story, and I'll try to show you some of these things button, and all they have to do is click that one button and you've just given them free content. If you only tag the location, they do not get that information. You need to be tagging the accounts themselves. Okay, so I'm gonna get out of this. I'm not actually gonna share that to your, whoa, okay, that's a lot. Start over, get out. And I'm gonna jump out of there. So I wanna go here, I'm gonna go to a story really quick, because I'm wanting to show you all of the places. Yes, I know that you can't do that. So let me just throw this photo in there currently. It's the title of our room. So I wanted to show you really quickly on here let me do that again so you actually see it. There's this little happy face sticker guy at the top. So let's say you've posted your story or your reel or this video of Stephanie drinking her coffee. When I'm about to post, I do these couple of things. I will tag an @mention. So let's just go ahead and tag Stephanie in this thing here. Where is she? There she is. But one thing I will do on my phone is if you click and drag it with your finger, which you can't see, it's trying to edit it, you can pull it off the screen. So it does not have to stay visible. You pull it off the screen and you can, it doesn't have to be, again, it doesn't have to be visible, but it's still functional. It'll still send them that invite, but it's just not visible. So do that, and then also tag your location. Again, I'm going to choose the biggest city near me, and then I can also pull it off the screen. So it's still doing the functionality without messing up the aesthetic of the story itself. Why is this important? Let's start to show you where some of these things show up. So Stephanie, if you don't mind, I'm going to dig into our account. So pretend like I tagged Stephanie's city, which is Edmonton. Okay, we know the camera doesn't work. Thank you. Which is Edmonton. Well, when she's checking her stories, and she added a location sticker to this story. Look right here. There are 2 viewers from her city that saw this post that are not followers of hers. So you have this opportunity of being served up in your location by this. So add a location sticker every once in a while, especially to those really meaty posts that you're wanting people to see. You might get seen in just that way, which is incredible. So just very quickly, the other place that it shows up, I am going to try this out, Stephanie, live from a studio audience. I'm going to type in Edmonton, and I hope I spell it right because I'm not from Canada, Edmonton. So I'm searching a place here at the top. If you scroll over, there's a places button. I'm going to click on places. And it's going to pull up a list of these things. I'm sure I go with the first one, right? The Edmonton, Alberta. Yep. So I'm going to go ahead and click that one. And it is now pulling up anytime Edmonton, Alberta has been tagged. Of course, we've got our top post here. You could go to recent posts. But guys, if there's a pink and yellow ring around it, that means that someone has tagged this location in the last 24 hours and made a story for it. This is a great way, by the way, if you're wanting to like see what restaurants are around you, because I'm going to do this just really quick. You can pinch. I'm pinching with my fingers, and I can zoom out and see where this is actually located. So let's say you search the hotel and places that you're staying in. You can zoom in and start to see other accounts. For some reason, it's not showing up stuff of other accounts that have also posted. See, there's other, look, somebody right here at the Starlight Room has added a story. So you can start to find other locations and actually dig into what's happened in the last 24 hours in those places and maybe map out your day. So Steph, I'm going to click on this. Guys, I don't know what's behind this door when I'm clicking on it, but what I'm hoping to find is Stephanie in the Edmonton story. So Steph, you'll have to help me. It was a question sticker that you had. Do you remember what the post was? Okay.
Yeah.
So
what are you reading right now?
Sweet. So I'm going to click on it. And it's going to load these stories. You can see at the top that there are multiple stories. This is showing off these different workout places, the pool, the breakfast, the things. I'm just going to keep going to see if it may have kicked you because it was yesterday. So let's see, keep going. Yep, so we got through all of them. But anyway, so now all of those people are going to receive a notification that says Edmonton viewer because I clicked and watched. Now it sometimes will automatically share this. I came across a photo that it will share these things anyway on your site. Really quick, Steph, I hope you're okay with this fast. I just want to show you on my profile, Stephanie has tagged me in some of her reels. So on your main profile, you can see this is mine. When you go over, this little tag icon here shows you all of the content you've been tagged in. So Stephanie has tagged me here, and here's her epic one that she's got going on, guys. It has taken off. So you can see that when I click on it, anyway, I just need to show y'all this. Look at this. Look at this. 32,000 likes, 900 comments, 13,000 shares. Come on, Steph. I want you to talk about that in just a second. But I wanted to show people when she tags Izzy Inc. in her main posts, this is where it shows up, but it has the potential of being shown to my audiences. I also can choose to reshare it with my audience. I can also comment and like it and save it and do all the things. By the way, guys, one of the best ways you can show love privately right now is to jump on any post, hit the little send button, and send it back to the original creator, because it gives them these sends without with it's a like they're calling it a share like, because you're sharing and liking. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna stop talking. Is there anywhere you wanted to go currently, Steph, with this? And I will follow. I can remove the
You
screen.
know, I
if you
just,
want.
again, when you lay it out this way, I find it much easier when I'm working with a client too, to get them to push the buttons. So we're sharing this so that you will start to yourself flex that muscle memory, build that memory, and push the buttons. Very quickly, I will just say about that Canadian reel that yes, it's over 500,000 views at this
That's
point
awesome.
in time. It's actually a commercial from 25 years ago. So I'm dating myself, but I remember when it first came out, and I happened to see it. I posted this on February 3rd, and I did it as a remix for someone else's reel. And so again, they get the whole, oh, you know, your reel has been remixed, but then I started adding other things into it to make it my own. Secondarily, on the tagging side, since that's what we're talking about today, I didn't know who the original actor was in this commercial. And then through all those comments that you saw on that, he was identified. And needless to say, is a proud Nova Scotian. He is from Nova Scotia. And what I did is, he doesn't allow tagging, right? And a lot of accounts won't allow you to tag them in stories or anywhere on the platform. But what I was able to do was to give him a shout out in the caption. And so that's just a nice friendly reminder to say, hey, I wanted to give him all the kudos and all the credits because it is an epic classic commercial, but I wasn't able to tag him like we're talking about today. But I did go ahead, go back into my caption and edit it. So when Elizabeth was talking about doing a little bit of your research, to do not just do the location, but to do the at mention, please do that. You know, I mean, again, so now there's a whole bunch of people that have been asking, who is this guy? We need to bring him back, and he needs to redo the whole commercial, which I don't think he wants to do because he's done many interviews on that. It was a time and a place. But yeah, so just a reminder that while you may want to do a collab, if you're, or you may want to tag, if that particular account is not allowing tagging, you can always send them a DM and let them know. Like, there are other ways to reach out to the account. And then, of course, as I said before, you can update your caption to include them there and give them the credits that they deserve.
I love, love, love it. And you go, guys, you can strategically do this. Start to think about the vendors that you use. Start to think about the restaurants that you you do your business meetings in, and start to kind of reach out to them and say, hey, I'm going to be here on such and such day. I would love to, I'm going to be posting. Would you reshare that? Like we went to a French restaurant for our little Valentine's Day thing, and I saw that the next day they had a florist that said, I can't take any more orders for Valentine's Day, but I've made some mini bouquets. They're at this little French cafe. And so she tagged the restaurant in it, and they reshared it to their audience, because we're cross-pollinating all of her audience that loves her flowers with the restaurant one. And another thing that you might want to start to consider is these little local bloggers and magazines and the news channel and that type of stuff, and start to think about how you could strategically tag it. So for instance, Steph, my story that I put out today, I tagged my city person. She has like 20,000 followers, I think. We're good friends. We've bartered that I make gifts for her and she'll reshare my content when it comes out. And so she reshared the story of our room today where we're talking about that. She's like, come learn with Izzy Inc. And so she reshares my content like that, but it gets represented to 20,000 people that don't know me. And so working out some of those deals. Now, some of these people that do this, they're either looking to barter or for you to pay them for the reshares. Sometimes they'll do it if they're low on content and they'll just hit that reshare button for you, which is very kind. But you want to make your content super clean, super clear, and not too salesy, even though you may be selling something, but more inviting them to be part of it. So I thought, Stephanie, we've talked Instagram. We have a couple minutes left. I thought maybe we could talk a little bit about LinkedIn and how what this looks like on the LinkedIn side of things. So very quickly for me, the way that you tag an account on LinkedIn is you hit that at symbol when you're, let's say you're putting a post or you're doing a comment or whatever, you hit the at symbol and then you start to type that person's name. It will include spaces and stuff like that too. So if you like do Elizabeth space DOS, it'll pull up my content, but you can also tag businesses and other things. So for instance, I often, if I'm doing a post, will tag like Giphy if I'm talking about them, or I'll tag Instagram, or I'll tag, these different ones. So potentially to be seen by them. But if they comment on, this is a huge thing, and I know I bring this up all the time. Their comments are super powerful on LinkedIn. If it's the only form of engagement that you have, then get in there and start commenting. Because what's wild to me is, it happened again this week, Steph. So I have a real estate client. I'm the only person I know in my current circle that's following this person. That's not true. There's some local people I think following her, but what was wild to me is somebody who is in a completely different part of the country liked the post, and I know that the only way that person saw the post was because I commented on it. And so people in the tagging part of things, I've seen people just like tag people's names in it, which is, if you have a big post that you're wanting to get out and wanting to talk about, sure, do that, but understand you might hurt yourself if those people don't interact with that post. Like, so just tagging this list of people is one thing, but doing it repetitively, I don't think helps you in the long run, because if those people don't like and comment or repost that, it comes across as spam for LinkedIn. And so do this strategically. For really every post can't be like a major post. You know what I mean? Like, so think about it strategically. And like a friend of ours, Matt Wampler, will reach out the day before and say, guys, I'm going to be announcing at 2 p.m. tomorrow. And I'm going to be tagging you in this. Would you consider, this is the reason I'm tagging you in it. Would you like and comment and respond to it? It would be a great way. So I'm going to hand it over to you, Steph, to talk about LinkedIn, collaborations, tagging, all the things.
Yeah,
Sorry.
I think one of the other ways that we can take advantage strategically, as you said, not every post can be like the major announcement, but when you're using images, remember that you can tag people from the images. So as you're loading the image up, you'll see that on the bottom, there's usually 3 icons, and there's the people icon, right? So if you're not wanting to have that long list of people in that main body of the post on Instagram, and you want to keep it clean, but you still want those people to be tagged or notified that you're pushing out this piece of content, whether you let them know the day before, or it's a really strategic post and you're wanting to make sure that their eyes see it, go ahead and make sure that you're adding it at the time that you upload the photo to that particular post. And then you can see the people icon, hit it, and then it will say tag, and then you can start to do a search, just like you were referring to before, Elizabeth, of that. You can start typing out Elizabeth, and then it will show up all of the Elizabeths that I'm connected to, and I can select the right one. Now, don't quote me on this, but I think you can do up to 20 people in that particular case. But yes, see the little people? That's where you can go in and you can click that and then start to tag. It's even referred to as tagging right there on LinkedIn. So that's another way to get your particular piece of content seen. Hopefully, like Elizabeth said, you want them to engage in it. So whether it's the CTA or the call to action is to ask them to share it, repost it, comment on it, whatever the case may be. At least that way, now it will show. And when, to your point, Elizabeth, when you were circling around the icon that comes up with the picture, then you will see Elizabeth Doss and 10 others have been tagged, right? And people can actually click on that link and see who has been tagged in when it actually is posted live. So there's a way to go, oh, who else is connected to this particular piece of content? I might be interested in learning more. So when you're thinking strategically about that, it's not just about, hey, as the person pushing out the piece of content, right? Because I'm a creator, but I'm also a consumer. Understanding how to utilize that and go, oh, I'm interested in what they're putting on, or there's an upcoming workshop or an announcement that is part of my industry, my niche, that I'm wanting to learn more, be connected in to people that are in that particular industry. This is a great way to find those people on LinkedIn and then reach out to them.
I love that. I love that. And I didn't know that that's where that was. So
We're all learning.
Stephanie teaching me. Really quickly, I wanted to show you on the LinkedIn side of things. I'm going to go to Stephanie's accounts. You may see double vision of us. I'm going to see if I can find a post of yours. Yeah, we'll just do this one. Under the comment section, I'm commenting on Stephanie's post, but you see there's even a little @ symbol here that I can click and find the people that I want to tag in this post here. And so what's interesting about that stuff is if you are it's the people that you probably interact with the most that show up at the top of that list, which I think is an interesting thing to find out right there. So that's one way to tag yourself. The other, I don't know why it's not popping up, but maybe because of the thing I'm using, is I'm just going to type in the @ symbol. So you can either tap the @ or you can type the @ and start to type in someone's name. There. So that's a really great way for you to do that. Awesome. I know that we covered a lot of things. I hope that the point of this really is this idea of thinking of it almost like a spider web and these threads of how can I reach these things out so that I'm now being pre-presented in front of the location, in front of these other things. I forgot one thing, Steph. I really wanted to share this. Let's see if I can swipe up. Can you do that on here? No. Okay, I'm gonna have to get out. How do you get out? Leave. Yes, I want to leave. Let's see. Oh, nope. Sorry. I don't remember how to get out. Because it's on my phone. Here, I'm going to have to break it for 2 seconds and just get in
So while
Instagram.
you're
Okay.
pushing the buttons and finding that piece, Elizabeth, again, we invite people to think strategically about how to use these features that are readily available to you.
Yes.
So whether, again, you're on Instagram, as Elizabeth is showing right now, LinkedIn, Facebook, it doesn't matter. It's just about thinking through and then applying those strategies that we're talking about to the platform that you find yourself using. And a quick reminder, you don't need to be on all the platforms. You need to be on the platforms where your people are.
Yeah.
Right? So we obviously talk a lot about LinkedIn and Instagram because that's where our people are. It's not to say that those are the only 2 platforms that we find ourselves on, but certainly those are the 2 platforms that we find ourselves spending the most time on because that's where our communities are.
Exactly. And there's ways for you to think about which platform to be on. So for me, I realized that my business is selling to other businesses. So it made much more sense for me to be on LinkedIn where the businesses are and where the people have the budgets and the things that they're looking for. And so it makes more sense for me to show up in those 2 places because I might accidentally end up attracting people that can't, that I can't work with. Okay. really quickly, I wanted to show you this. We were talking about location tagging. In Instagram, there's this little Reels button at the bottom, but up here at the top, if you click the Reels thing, there is now a new list of nearby. So if I click nearby, all of the content, I don't know what's going to show up, that is not nearby. There's this account that tags my town and it's in Asia somewhere. This is not nearby, guys. I'm not going to pretend like I live near something like that. But nearby is pulling in my location, but if I've tagged my location in it, then it's going to potentially show up in this area. So this is in my town, and I don't even know. I mean, I recognize the name, but I don't even know what they're building. Oh, it must be a slide at Unity Park or something. This is my downtown. That, yes, all those things. So this, if you're tagging your location, you have a potential of being showing up in the nearby areas. And so I just wanted to let you know this is a new feature on Instagram. It came out like a month ago, where if you click Reels, you can order what reels you're getting. So I can watch the reels of only people I'm following. I can watch them from nearby, and then any notes where people I follow have used a note on this person's post. Like apparently I follow this person and I follow him, he's commenting on it, so I can see what my friends are watching and leaving notes on. So that's the other side of that. So anyway, okay. All the taggings.
Oh, that was a good one, because you're right. I was looking at my notes going, oh yeah, we didn't talk about nearby, so that's great. What a wonderful way to wrap up. And it wasn't until you and I were talking about it that I was like, oh yeah, I have that now. So even when people are watching this maybe on the replay and going, I don't have that. Like, how come I don't have that? Remember that new features are constantly being rolled out. So while you may not have it on your account right now, it's always nice to at least know what features are out there and where to find them, so you can go back onto your own account and see and kind of go, oh yeah, I'm going to keep checking on that. There's several that I'm waiting to get, because I manage a few accounts, and then of course then I look and I have them on those accounts but not on my own, or they do the really bad sad thing and they give me a feature and then they take it away when I fall in love with it. So this is what happens when you have over 1 billion users on a platform like Instagram. Yeah.
And so 3 things to do if a feature is not showing up. 1 is make sure your phone's updated. 2, make sure the app itself is updated. And 3, turn your phone on and off if all of those things are updated, because sometimes it needs that chance to reboot and reset. And I've had this happen more than once, where it'll show up in one of those steps after doing that process. And how often do we turn off our phones anyway? What is that? That's bananas. So anyway, thank you so much for joining us, Stephanie. Thank you so much for joining me today. And I just hope that everybody has a great time. And guys, tag us in your stuff. We want to see it. So you can tag at Izzy Inc. on Instagram or tag Elizabeth Doss on LinkedIn. Stephanie is the same way. It's at Take Roots on Instagram and at Stephanie Gillis Polgard on LinkedIn. So I will hand it back to you, Steph, to close us out.
Closing us out. Oh my gosh, our time always goes by so fast. So every Tuesday at 10 a.m. Eastern, you will find us live across multiple platforms on LinkedIn, on Facebook, on YouTube. And yes, we are using our new favorite tool in our toolkit, Riverside FM. So please go ahead. You can go back and watch the replays. Go ahead and click that subscribe button on YouTube for Cultivate Weekly, and we will see you next Tuesday. So cups up, everyone. Keep pushing the buttons and keep showing up.